one.
So in these Story So Far interviews I like to do that we're doing right now, I like to kick things off by bringing up all this earlier work that you've done before your big break, right? So let's say your big break is Doctor Who, and you did before that Kevin Bishop's show, Coming Up, Harley Street, Stacked, Rebus, and, well, what do you know, Doctor Who as well. I was wondering, what are your fondest memories of this jobbing actor time in your life before things really kicked off?
I just got so nostalgic when you said that. I think there's just something so nice about knowing that it's all to come, and you're like filled with aspirations, and I still am, because I don't feel like I am where I'm set out to be. Like I don't know if you ever feel that way. People are telling me you never actually feel that way, which is frankly so depressing. But back in those days, it was just, really, really fun, you know? Just going out for auditions all the time and getting so many no's, but then you get like the odd bite and you're like, yes!
This is living! But
Yeah.
obviously, since then, it's been an embarrassment of big name riches. You've got Doctor Who, again, your work as Nebula on the Guardians movies, Ruby Roundhouse, Great Name, Great Gal, in the Jumanjis.
You are a badass.
And then you've got all this executive butt cookery with the similarly fantastically named Gunpowder Milkshake, which I cannot wait to talk about. But with all that in mind, I've got to say I love your Instagram bio. Daughter of Thanos, killer of men, fan of fish fingers and custard. That is like, take a break. I've smashed today, isn't it?
That's defining my life, I suppose. Those are the chapters of my life.
That's it forevermore. On your tombstone, it'll say something like, fish fingers, just leave them here. Custard, as you need. By the way, I really, really hope you appreciated it as much as I did. In terms of you missing things from Britain, right? Where in Avengers Endgame, we have in Thor's cottage, whatever you call it, Iron Brew and Innocent Gun. And I was just like, yes.
I can't remember if it was Infinity War. I think it was Infinity War, not Endgame. But there was a scene where Elizabeth Olsen is talking to someone and there's a kebab shop behind her and it says, we deep fry kebabs.
Maybe going isn't the best idea.
And I was like, okay, so you found the most Scottish spot in the world.
Last time we spoke, it was for Jumanji 2.
Last Christmas.
Remember those heady days?
Do they know it's
Jack Black was singing you and I a song about
a movie called Some Guardian?
Guardians, Galaxy, something, something.
Sorry, that's it.
Oh, I remember that.
You can edit that out.
I was wondering, what were your ultimate, most surreal, big name OMG moments when you've been in the room with The Rock and you're like, is this really happening? Pinch me. Like, what have been the biggest examples of that?
It was probably being on Avengers Endgame and sitting in the sort of actor holding area with just all of the Marvel superheroes in costume. I'm sorry, what? And I'm just sitting there in my blue makeup, so no one knows what I look like in real life. And I'm just like, God, there's no one I can look at to just be like, what the hell has happened?
Stare at the wall. Just stare at a spot in the wall. I would find it so hard not to ask for a selfie with Robert Downey Jr. when you're playing table rugby with him.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, that was really fun. We got to do a lot of improv in that sequence. And that was a moment too where I was like, I'm improvising with Robert Downey Jr.
That's a goal. We are now one apiece.
I would like to try again.
Who's significantly like he's amazing at improv. And so I'm like, I can't believe I have to keep up with this.
And it's so unfair, even if you were to take a photograph, you can't even smile as Nebula because you just physically can't.
Yeah, it would come out like this.
Yeah.
And that just looks like I'm not that bothered to be next to him, and it's like further from the truth.
I've seen that photo of you with Harrison Ford for Call of the Wild, and I suddenly realised that's it. That's what it really is.
That's the moment.
That's happiness.
And mush.
I've got a bit of an ego-bending mind trip of a question before we get into Gunpowder, which is, if I type in Karen Gillan into YouTube, what are the two videos that pop up at the top, most viewed? Can you guess?
Interviews of some kind?
You might think so, but the first one is the dance fighting scene from Jumanji.
Oh, really?
Comment is, the only Karen we can all agree doesn't suck.
That's what's going to be on my gravestone, not the fish fingers.
Not the fish fingers. And it's just perfect living therapy. Like, you're coming to terms with your awkward adolescent self and also kicking backside. That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And then number 2, right, is the Nebula time-lapse transformation thing. And the top comment
really?
from that is, producer, sorry Nebula, we don't need you today. Just wash that off and go home.
Which has definitely happened to me.
I assure you, I am not as easy a mark as an old man without his magic stick or a talking woodland beast.
It's hard going, but also it just helps me play her. So it's a really bittersweet relationship I have with this makeup. It's like, I don't want to wear it, but I need to.
Yeah, and great fun that you had to do it in Australia in the heat last time. Oh, hooray.
I will say it's easier to get off if you've been sweating all day. Because the glue's really loosened up.
Top tip, cosplayers. Remember that.
Hi, Mom. Am I a grandmother? God, no.
I've got to tell you, looking at Gunpowder Milkshake, with you knocking 3 guys to the moon and back with this small children's rolly suitcase, to the tune of something that sounds like The Ecstasy of Gold by Ennio Morricone. Does this
That's what we were
film...
listening to as we were filming it.
Does this film contain most of your I've never looked so cool mental memories?
There's definitely moments where I think I look cool, and then there's moments where I think I look like really cute. And I don't mean that in a like good-looking way. I just mean like, oh. You know what I mean? I think it's the ponytail and my soft face.
Without being facetious though, or too facetious, was a big part of the appeal of this movie getting to, you know, crack skulls and blast bullets with the likes of, you know, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti, he was in Shoot 'em Up, chuck him in there. Angela Bassett. Talk about selfies. This is unbelievable. Those behind the scenes videos of you pretending to fall asleep on a sofa.
Yeah, no, it was amazing, actually. I signed on and then it was like one after the other, amazing woman, amazing woman, amazing woman. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was going to need to be starstruck this entire movie.
You know what happened, Karen, is they saw that you were signed up and they just said yes.
I don't know if that's the reason, but I'll take it.
They saw the title and went, I can't turn down a movie called Gunpowder Milkshake.
It was more likely that, because I was definitely into it primarily for the title and also for the really inventive fight sequences.
C'est plus compliqué que ça.
I love that in France it's called Bloody Milkshake because they just gave up.
Because I think that they just don't understand, like it doesn't make sense to have a gunpowder milkshake.
You're ruining good food. Why would you put gunpowder? That's a terrible idea.
With the milkshake, I cannot do a French accent, we have now learned.
Changement de programme. Ils ont kidnappé une petite de 8 ans.
How do you come to terms with the fact that you have sung some sort of car wash song with Lena Headey? I would just want to kind of keep her. She's just so amazing. I just want her to always be around and funny and hilarious and dark.
Yeah,
and
she is exactly like that. Like her humor is so infectious. And she's just so silly too. Like she loves making a silly video. Really, really into it. Like so enthusiastic about it. And so am I. And so that's why there were so many Instagram videos. But like, yeah, she's really great to have around. Just an absolute laugh. And then also the best actress ever.
It's almost just not okay.
I know.
But fine. We'll let her off. You just watch Dredd again and go, God, you're incredible. I read somewhere that you would occasionally bring your mum along to conventions. Have you got any good stories of her interacting with people and kind of going, that's my daughter?
So she's constantly trying to get Marvel spoilers out of me and anyone who's linked to Marvel at conventions. Like she's so sly, but like it's so obvious at the same time. She'll just be like, oh, so that's you done on the floor then, is it? All right, so how many days were you working? Oh, so there can't be that much of that going on then. And she's like trying to piece it together. And I'm like, Mum, stop.
Does she enjoy the photo booth meeting the fan moments as much as you do? Because you posted on your Instagram the other day a series of your favourites. Do you have an ultimate favourite? You've had marriage proposals and stuff like that, haven't you?
I've had marriage proposals, which is really amazing until you start to feel like the third wheel when they're just gazing into each other's eyes, crying. It's like, should I go? Or but it's very sweet. My favorite is this one guy comes to so many conventions and holds up the previous pictures in the photo ops. So it's getting like really meta.
I'll leave you with this. Do you get lines, and what lines do you get when people spot you?
Well, hello, boys.
One that I noticed that people want me to always write on pictures is an improvised line, actually, from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is,
It's not ripe.
it's not ripe. And it was like improv at the time. And that has stuck beyond anything else.
That is the randomest answer to that question I've ever heard. I thank you so much.
I thank the fans for really latching onto that one.
You've got millions of Doctor Who quotes, but no.
Not right.
Karen, you have, as ever, been amazing. Thank you, and have a great
Thank you
rest of
so
your day.
much.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up to date. You can listen to my Radio 1 movies and TV podcast Screen Time on BBC Sounds. And you can find these interviews in full on BBC iPlayer by searching Movies with Ali Plumb.